Good morning, everyone. It is Friday. We got done with the 6 a.m. Breakfast of Champions Clubhouse. I hope you joined us there. If not, catch me on this week's training, 11 a.m. Pacific time. You could catch me on all places, and it is 11 a.m. Persistence blended with patience. How to blend patience and persistence. The ultimate counterproductive and counterintuitive blend that we need. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Pet Plate, I see you here. My dear friend Ronaldo, I will be with you in a few minutes at around 8:05. Let me answer a few questions and get started. Get Team David Meltzer. Karen, how are you? The Gronsky School of Dance, one of my favorites there, back east. And she's an incredible being and just so kind. A person, if you haven't checked her out. Anyway, how do you deal with unexpected things happening? Well, first of all, I love to say, if you want to make God laugh, come up with a well-developed plan. So I use a AAA strategy to get aligned with what I want. I use and be a student in my calendar. Of course, studying activity. I get paid for activity I don't, what I have planned, what I don't have planned, and my sleep. But I prepare for adjustment. And that adjustment allows me to deal with unexpected things, going right to either as a student in my calendar, what I've studied, or as my non-negotiable values will indicate, prioritizing by what's most important and evaluating what was unexpected against the backdrop of my what, who, how, now, and why, the backdrop of taking inventory of my values. And if we know those values of what we want personally, what we want experientially, what we want giving-wise, what we want receiving-wise, we're able then to effectuate all types of accelerated change and prepare for adjustment. Alignment, action, prepare for adjustment. The AAA strategy utilized there. As you can see, if you want any of the guides exercises on this, for example, not a problem. Liam, I will get to you too. You're here. I see you, my friend. Awesome. I think you'll be on 8:15 or so. Good to see everyone joining in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But you can join me anytime. David at dmeltzer.com. I will send, sign, ship, pay for shipping on my books, exercises, guides. Go ahead, reach out to me, David at dmeltzer.com. If you haven't joined my text community, do so. 949-298-2905. It's pinned below. So check it out. Let's get a few more questions in before we get to my friend Ronaldo. Thank you for your patience. How do you use math to your advantage? Well, I quantify reasons, I quantify impact, and I quantify capabilities, features, and benefits. I vet things through the process of math in the context of that quantifiable value based upon, for me, profit. Utilizing time and risk tolerance as a basis, a precursor to any decisions that I might make. Too many people ask too many obtuse or obscure questions because they haven't explored their own timing and risk tolerance and haven't done the work to quantify reasons, quantify impact, quantify capabilities. And in order to do so, we can effectuate a true articulation of quantifiable value to exceed what we're either asking for or giving. It's straight math. All righty, here. What's the best lesson you've learned recently? Best lesson I've learned recently is putting faith in what I want, understanding, all the things that interfere with what I already have, my wealth, my health, and my happiness, shifting the paradigm to use my faith to focus in on what I have and what am I doing to interfere with what I already have, wealth, health, and happiness, instead of thinking I have to go get healthy, I have to go get wealthy, I got to go get happy. I'm already happy, healthy, and wealthy. What am I doing to interfere with that? Is it sleep? Is it nutrition? Is it exercise? Is it friendships? Is it focus? Is it attention? Is it intention? Whatever it may be, I'm interfering with it, with my ego, the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry. Hope you got all those. I have exercises and guides on all this, which I give away for free to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. All you got to do is email me, David at dmeltzer.com, and we can rock and roll. That's for sure. Here we go. Almost 8:05. That means it's time to bring on my friend Ronaldo. Where are you at, my friend? We're going so fast. So many people on here. Ronaldo at Pet Plate. Go ahead. You put a thing. Let me go back. You were here so early. I got to find you in the mix here. Let me find Pet Plate. Pretty cool guest to have on. So thank you. Actually, If you can re-comment, Ronaldo, I appreciate it. Go ahead and just put I'm here or request. I'll let you join in. I'm here. Here we go. See how easy that was? Go live with Pet Plate. At Pet Plate, founder of Pet Plate. And it's a big issue here. Oh, sideways. Hey man, how are you?
How you doing? Oh, this might be a little bit sideways there. There, better.
Hey, welcome. You're the Shark Tank star. I saw you on Shark Tank, and I was so excited
thank you for
to have you here, and even the post-show success. Talk about the process, because I have a show called 2 Minute Drill.
Yep.
I have a show called Elevator Pitch, which is more like Shark Tank, where we fund companies. But I have found, although you can get funded on the show, that, to truly get funded, it takes a lot more work and diligence and vetting, which probably occurs afterwards. So I was hoping you could tell me what it was, in your opinion, that not only stimulated the interest of people to invest in you, but how you managed and developed that vision after the show with the Sharks and with other people.
Yeah, I really resonate with something you mentioned at the top of your show when you mentioned quantifying. Investors want you to quantify and really to be able to deliver a sense of confidence, and speak in their language, whether it's via profits, retention, your customer acquisition, etc. So, when it really comes down to getting investors excited about what you're doing, I think you have to be able to quantify it in a very simple way, and then just be able to speak to those numbers and really dive into the assumptions and why you feel confident and what you're pitching to them, right?
Yeah, people are posting, my dog loves your product. I want to talk about another thing because, obviously with the pandemic, your business model fit right into what I call accelerated change or growth. But it's like content, right? There's a million different people out there, personalities, etc. But if you have quality content or quality dog food, it makes a difference in the long run. You might be able to fool people in the short run and sell stuff and oversell stuff and back end sell stuff. But the companies and brands that make it, the entrepreneurs that create a legacy and a true acceleration in their business have a quality product, just like a brand has a quality communication or quality content. For you, how much emphasis did you put on the quality of the food and the quality of your service comparatively to the marketing?
Yeah, it really started there. For me at Pet Plate, I began the business cooking food for my dog in the kitchen, right? So I need to make sure first my dog, my friends, etc. loved it. And, we also bootstrapped Pet Plate. So we didn't quickly go out to venture capitalists, etc., trying to raise money before we knew customers loved it. We got feedback from the customers and they quickly reiterated on the product to make it better. So, for us, it really kind of goes back to, what are our customers saying, getting that feedback early, and then doing the hard work and putting in the time to improve upon that. So we've definitely done that by, working on our meals. We work very closely with our veterinary nutritionists, and we do a lot of, testing on the products to make sure that not only is it nutritious and, improving your pet's health, but that the pet parent feels comfortable about and excited about feeding it. On our packaging, we are very unique in the industry. We serve our meals in containers versus vacuum sealed bags, majority of fresh cooked or raw dog food. So, we really tried to look at that across the entire spectrum, but really it's just getting the feedback from your customers, iterating on it, and really caring and being a user of your product. My dog's sitting right next to me. So, you have to make sure, if I notice something's wrong, we have to stop the presses and go fix it.
That's so funny because when I'm thinking of Pet Plate, I'm thinking about my dad, who he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was divorced. So he divorced someone my whole life, but I go to visit him. And, typical single dad, he literally would make breakfast for his dog, right? Because none of his kids lived. We were all older. He didn't live with the kids. So he'd make breakfast for his dog. And then, I wanted to eat when I came visit. He had a drawer with the lettuce and the fruits go. It was full of candy. And I was like, hey, man, what am I supposed to eat? If they had Pet Plate back then, the quality of your food would have been better than that candy. I'd have been better off eating it.
It's human grade, so you can do it. Balance for dogs, but you could take a bite of it. We eat our own dog food at Pet Plate.
Well, I had some drinking days where I think I accidentally ate my dog food. But I digress. One of the other things that you do really well, Ronaldo, is a question that I get as an executive coach a lot. is how to scale my business, right? You started locally in New York City,
Yeah.
and now, 10 million meals nationwide.
Hmm.
That's not an easy feat, and I look at three different stages: a learning stage, an execution stage, and an equity stage, when things just kind of grow upon itself.
Yep.
For you, concerned of those three stages, what was the most challenging part of scaling for you? Was it the learning stage, the
Hmm.
execution of it, or now the equity stage that you sit in?
Yeah, really, it was kind of the execution stage, that middle stage you mentioned there, and because once you figure out the benchtop formula, or you figure out the product that your 10 or 20 friends love, how do you make sure you're delivering that same quality and consistency when you go from a couple hundred people, to thousands and tens of thousands? That was definitely the hardest thing we had to do. At Pep Plate, how we tried to do that was just being very thoughtful in terms of the steps we were taking along the way. First, it was, hey, let's just find the best kitchen to make Pep Plate, right? If I'm not making it and my friends are making it now in a commercial kitchen, I want to find the best facility that's going to be able to, hold true to the core beliefs and the value adds that we're delivering from the product. Next was, how do we make sure we're delivering it to people in a way that's, making, the best experience for them? How do you make sure then the marketing and communications align so that everyone knows how to use the product and the benefits? So we just kind of, just took it step by step. It's going to be a process, and you just have to be willing to put in the work over time. It took Pep Plate a number of years to be able to scale to where we're at now. And now we are in that equity phase where it's a little bit of just pouring fuel on the fire, right? Things are moving, and now it doesn't matter if we're doing, tens of thousands to millions of meals, right? It's all going to flow and work the same way.
I always say I'm made by the people I say no to. And
Mm-hmm.
you're one of the few on Shark Tank that, you didn't get a deal, but they brought you back for the post-show success that you're having, illustrating and illuminating kind of their own humility of where it's at. Looking back, are you glad that you didn't take and give up 10% of your company?
Yeah.
Looking back and just received all the publicity and marketing aspects of, the show compared to actually having to give up equity in the company?
Yeah, I mean, great question. I would say definitely now looking back, I wish I can go tell Ronaldo of 4 or 5 years ago, hey, don't worry, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, right.
In the moment, obviously it was pretty devastated, but we were able to raise capital shortly after, and I would say we were able to raise smarter capital. Right, we're able to raise money from people that had experience in direct-to-consumer businesses. I was able to align myself with business partners that were able to help me grow along every stage of the business. If that's one thing, I would say is important. Make sure you're aligning yourselves with super smart people to continue to work with, whether those are investors or people you're bringing onto your team. So for us, it all worked out, which is great. So we were super excited, and I'm just fortunate now that Pep Plate gets aired on these Shark Tank reruns every couple of months, and it's a nice boon to the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a quality business with quality leadership and a quality entrepreneur. The interesting thing, is I look at entrepreneurship like working out. Every venture that I've ever gotten to, I literally, at the end of it, I look back and I say, man, I feel better than I did when I started.
Yeah.
I've never started a workout going, man, I feel great. I can't wait for this thing. But every workout I ever had, I finished going, yeah, I feel better. Even if it wasn't successful, which sometimes even in the physical aspect that we work out in, it's not always what we plan. I still feel better. And I love the fact that you say I could go back to the old Ronaldo and tell him one thing. Just real quickly for a last question, if you could go back to the Ronaldo and, before you went on Shark Tank, what lesson would you tell Ronaldo, looking back when you first started?
When I first started Pep Plate, I would definitely say focus on hiring very early and make sure you're bringing quality people into your team. And that, for me, I'm kind of a technical, geek. I enjoy coding, living in Excel, and I was a physics major, etc. So, all the soft skills associated with entrepreneurship, I was not quite prepared for. So that would be the advice I would give to myself: is make sure you really focus on, how you set the culture, how you think about hiring and the people you're bringing on your team, and putting the required time and energy and effort into that. Just as much time needs to go into that as fundraising and everything else, honestly. It's
I love
core
it. I
part of
always
scaling
say
a business.
employees and overhead, keep your eye on both, appreciate both, and
Yeah.
respect both of those as well, and live by those values of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration within the context of those employees. You'll be just fine. And I am so proud of you. I love to be able to share. One thing I like about Shark Tank is sharing the experience and the journey
Yeah.
when they show those success stories, even if they didn't invest. And I am so grateful for you coming on and sharing your journey and your advice to everyone. Thank you so much. Come back and visit me, okay, Ronaldo?
Of course. Hey, thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Petplate.com, @petplate. Really easy. Check it out. If you have any type of dog, you got to check it out. It's the best. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Right on. All right. Click the close. For some reason, mine won't close. Yeah, if you want to learn how to scale a business, go ahead, reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. I will send my exercise of scaling a business, learning stage, execution stage, and equity stage. Free, not a problem. Just reach out, david@dmeltzer.com. All right, I have the incredible Liam Collins on here, liam.james.collins. He is a 7-figure course creator and founder of Coaching Masters. Welcome, my friend. I'm pumped to have you, as Jake is as well. All right, let me find my friend in here. Where are we at? We're having a good time. Liam, go ahead. Give me a little I am here, and I am here. I see it. My man, here we go. All righty. Liam Collins, incredible coaching master himself, thecoachingmasters.com. Hey, what's going on?
Yes, David Meltzer. How you doing, my man? I tell you what, I have been looking forward to this chat all week, David.
Oh, you had me at hello, my friend. So thank you so much for joining. Your energy is incredible. Your background is one that my wife would love. You know, I want to start with your 3-day training course because, you know, a lot of people ask me why I don't do, you know, weekends and long trainings. And I will tell you that, you know, I'm a hot seat coach. You're right. I'm a 5:20 guy, 5-minute phone calls, 20-minute meetings. And I need coaches like Liam to help me because I can set things in motion, et cetera. And I only am limited. You know, I have a very select, long wait list for one-on-one business advisory. But I need, you know, the 1,000 that I talk about that can empower 1,000 to empower 1,000. And it takes time. And people that are aligned with my values and different things that I teach, it's so important to spend the time. And so you do a free 3-day training called the Course Creator Masterclass. And, you know, why does it take, you know, people ask me, why does it take 3 days, you know, to get things, you know, into the execution mode?
It's like you were talking about before, like it's all numbers, right? It's all numbers. It's that synergy of numbers. There's something about the 3-day training where you're able to hand over enough information for people to retain the information. I met a famous coach when I first became a coach, and I was really struggling when I first became a coach. This was back in 2017. A guy called Paul McKenna, you know, one of the best personal development writers in the world. And he said something to me which completely changed my mindset because I was struggling. I was just looking to like make more money, go on more holidays, have more freedom, and my focus was wrong. And he said, Liam, the more value you add to other people's lives, the more money you're going to make. And I tell you what, since then, David, within our business, we give away as much as we can. Because what we found is if we give away as much as we possibly can, we're always getting a lot back. So yeah, man, this 3-day training is going to be great. It's me, my business partners, Lewis and Johnny. We have got ourselves to the point where we're generating over $150,000 a month in just online course sales. And we have a firm belief that everybody has an online course inside of them. So yeah, man, this 3-day training is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's funny because I do the Breakfast of Champions on Clubhouse every Friday now at 6 a.m. Pacific. And one of the key questions today was, Dave, you do so much for free, like Liam. You know, everything's free. Your books are free, exercises, guides, your trainings are free, your online course is free. You'll pay for shipping. How do you make money? And it's funny because that was the lesson that I learned about giving and not trading. Right? When you're trading to give, when you authentically just provide value and you have value, people will want more access. And if you can articulate, now listen, everybody out there, because Liam does this really well. He articulates the value to exceed, right? Quantitative value, right? Money wise. he articulates that to exceed what he asked for when you ask him. He's not out there asking you. He's asking you to come for free and learn. Then you ask him, hey, can you help me with this? And then he articulates the quantifiable value to exceed what he needs to do that for you. That is the formula right there. And so many people do it backwards. They stand in front of cars that they don't own, houses, they exaggerate and lie, oversell, back end sell what they've done. And then they ask people and can't deliver the value, and they got you. Right? I go as far as guaranteeing, and I know people don't like guarantees. I do. I like to say to someone, hey, man, if you lose your money, you can have your money back. Or if you don't like my haircut, you can take your money back. I don't care. And that's why I limit my commitment month to month to people, because I can't extend that risk out, for 6 years and someone come back and say, oh, Dave, you went bald. I want 6 years of what you've had. For me, look at what I do for you month for month. If you want access to me outside of what I give for free, and let that be, a profitable situation, or take your money back. I'm not into that. For you, do you have guarantees, or how does that relationship between quantifiable value and what you deliver appear in your business?
Yeah, see, I love that question, right? And I refer to this as gravitation, right? I'm creating gravitation. I want people to have this gravitational pull towards me. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is if, one, I'm showing them the amount of value I can give them, whilst at the same time bringing the energy, bringing the transparency, bringing the integrity, the honesty. I let people into my world, right? When I run courses, I let them into my world. I never have a problem with swinging the camera around, showing people that I'm in my bedroom right now. You know what I mean? I like showing people what I'm all about and where I am. So to answer your question, David, yeah, absolutely. Yes, exactly. It's all about that transparency. And if you give that to people, you give them the honesty, the transparency, the openness, also with something like a complete money back guarantee, then naturally, whether that's got a time frame to it or whether it's results based, it's about making people feel comfortable on a few different bases. They're comfortable because it's a no-brainer to invest in you because they've got nothing to lose, but also you've opened yourself up to them enough that they fully trust you. I mean, when I teach my courses, I'm very open about my background. I've had various different adversities through my life. I was really heavily caught up in one of the worst terror attacks that London has ever had. Witnessed a lot of death that day. I lost my dad to suicide very soon after that. I had a very successful acting career at one point. I was Tom Hardy's body double in Batman, and that completely crashed after that. All the work dried up, and I ended up becoming a mailman. It was like I experienced like a series of setback, devastation, setback. And I open myself up to that when I teach people, when I do trainings, because I feel like it creates that gravitation. And I need to be creating that gravitation to make people feel comfortable in my presence.
Yeah, and that illumination that you do, that transparency from where you are to what you've experienced is so essential in teaching the lessons and allowing for an emotional connection so that you can articulate what you learned about. Here's the reasons that an online course works. Here's the impact that I'll have. And here's the capabilities that I have that I can share with you. I'm listening to you and thinking about a new epiphany of mine, which was the difference between a coach and a mentor. And I used to joke around. I used to tell people, the only thing I know the difference between a coach and a mentor is one charges $500 more than the other an hour, right? And I'm not going to tell you which one, but what you do is so important, because not only do you coach in your 3-day course, which is the ability to bring out the best in people, but you also mentor by giving your best. And to close this out, I have an interesting question, totally off topic, but it will allow you, I think, to emotionally attach to my audience. Everyone can reach out to thecoachingmasters.com. If you do the /David, you get, the special love from my boy Liam. But Liam, I'm going to ask a different question. And I know you're a person who illuminates. So, my greatest fears lie in some of the things that my dad, had done. And, I can't imagine, my dad screwed up some serious shit in his life, and he was emotionally abusive to me and my mom and other things, but he's a great dad, and I learned from him, and we finished out his life in, really high frequency. But, and I illuminate it, I can't imagine. I always said, what would your greatest fear be knowing that your dad took his own life? So Do you deal with that in your own life? Because I deal with the greatest fears of my dad's existence. What was your greatest fear of your dad's existence that you have to manage in your life today and allows you to teach others to manage in their life?
So 10 weeks ago, I just became a dad. And I'm now a dad. I've got a gorgeous little baby girl called Posey. And I tell you what, mate, immediately as you asked me that question, my mind went straight to how good of a dad my dad was. Like my dad, he was so caring. He was so loving. He was so funny. And, you know, the story of his death, of course, is a story for another time. But when I found out that he had taken his own life, it was such a shock beyond belief. Like if everybody asked me to rank all the people I met in my life from most likely to least likely to kill themselves, he'd be least likely. It was a total shock. I love my dad beyond belief. But immediately as you say that, he was such an iconic dad. He was such an iconic father. And for me, it's about stepping up to that, right? It's about stepping up to that fatherhood and stepping up and filling his shoes. And it's funny because I do relate it to what I do in the coaching space as well at the Coaching Masters, because my community, they've become my family. It's like they've become my kids. So I'm not only trying to step up and step into those father's shoes because I'm now a dad and I've got a little girl. I'm trying to do that for all of the thousands of members within my community. I need to be that dad. I need to be that leader. I need to be the one that's honest and true and transparent and leading life with integrity, because that's what my dad did. So my greatest fear, to answer your question, David, would be to not do that. And I feel like you've made me realize that that's a big reason and driving force behind why I step into that integrity so much and transparency, because that's what he was like, right? That's what he was like. So yeah, man, I want to do that for all my students, all of my community and everybody that I coach.
Everyone has to join your completely free 3-day training. You know, I've looked it over. It's an incredible value and giving access to everyone at thecoachingmasters.com/David. Also at liam.james.collin, plural Collins. Check out my friend, Liam. Liam, let's do some more stuff together. If you need my assistance in any way, I appreciate your vulnerability and the illumination, and hopefully you learn some lessons as well, and other people could connect emotionally to what you're doing and how you do it. You are a leader, and your dad would be proud of you.
Oh, thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. And I tell you what, David, this has topped off my Friday night.
Nice.
I love it, man. I love
Good.
it.
I'll rewatch it. It'll top off my Friday night too. I'll rewatch it tonight here in America. Thanks so much. Go ahead, press the exit. For some reason, I can't. Thank you so much, my friend. Liam Collins, check it out. His The Course Creator Masterclass. And I have my next friend here. We're just flying. Let me take a quick question in the interim so I can reset my own head. What are you putting your attention and intention on right now? Scaling my business. Extraordinary opportunities in my business right now, and I need to scale it. If anyone wants that document that I'm working off of, I'm happy to send it to you. So please reach out and get it from me, david@dmeltzer.com. As I look for Jessica in here, so many people, thank you so much. Jessica, give me a little I am here again as I'm looking for you. There's so, oh, there you are. Cool. Simply Be, my friend, Simply Be Agency. We had such a great talk. Oh, sorry. I'm going to send you a quick request. David@dmeltzer.com. Micah Shabi here as well. I see you on there. Hi. I got you.
I got you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, that makes my day. And thank you so much for joining me. This is great. Hopefully you've been listening in a little bit. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, amazing. What a beautiful guest. What a beautiful morning. It's morning where I am, so it's been a treat.
It's morning where I am too. We're both on the same side of things.
Yeah.
And I'm excited you're on my playbook, #1, which I had a great conversation with you. And my favorite part of the playbook is I'm like a modern day Napoleon Hill, that I get to ask the leaders of the world for their inside tips, secrets, what makes them tick, their emotional assets, as I call them. And so I just want to start, you know, I learned so much when you came on. What was one lesson that you learned through our conversation last time? What was a takeaway or a lesson that you thought about when you hung up with me and said, man, this was good?
I mean, one of the things you asked me, I think it was the last question you asked me, was about what message could I give to young women who are really trying to find their way and believe in themselves and you know, because you look at me, which I fully receive as this like activated woman that wasn't always that way. And I love that you ended our conversation with that as like the takeaway, because I think that so many young women, you know, have a lack of self-worth and don't, you know, aren't empowered by the world around them to be bright and bold and shine. And so if my little story on your podcast had like any nugget of inspiration for young women out there, like how grateful I was that you asked me that question. Because I know a lot of really like successful people follow you, or like people who are on the path. And I think women need to see other women, you know, activated in their light. And so I was very grateful you brought me on to sort of, you know, be an example of that. And I worked for it. I've done the inside work, as we both have, to get here. And so I was really happy you asked me that.
It's amazing because your book launched this week.
It did.
And you know, and I know it's wonderful. I got to actually peruse it now myself, that it's launched. And, you know, it's called, by the way, B, a no bullshit guide to increasing your self-worth. Net worth by simply being yourself. But what I didn't realize was a personality trait that I have, that you have. We are both very emotionally intelligent, very emotionally connected, but you're also a very pragmatic person. You're like me. I list things out, 1, 2, 3, you know, you'll hear it all the time. Here's your 5, this, the 4, this, or whatever. And you really, you know, teach. And I am buying a copy for all of my teenage daughters, by the way. Because self-worth is something I deal with. I say the word self-worth, I get choked up. Because
I know.
I damaged so much of my life by not being worthy of everything I received. You know, and the fear of having so much just really overwhelmed me as a young person. And I want everyone to have more than enough and be comfortable having more than enough. But you really go through these step-by-step ways of doing so, which I think are very simple. And a lot of times our lessons are hard to articulate. How best have you learned beyond the lessons to articulate the lessons? Because I think that's is equally important. And I see that in your book, especially your ability to articulate the lessons so well. What were some of the things you learned about articulating those lessons?
Well, I think you know, I'm in personal branding, right? And everyone asks me like, what's personal brand? And I often say it's knowing your value. You know, inside and out, and being able to articulate it. I use that word all the time, being able to effectively communicate what makes you you. And I think on my own journey of really understanding like how to do that was learning to trust myself, that I had a voice, that what I had to say mattered, that who I am being matters, that it's for a reason. And that didn't happen overnight. Like I had to test and learn and really like, you know, put myself out there and create content that was, you know, vulnerable and real and coming from my heart. Because there was a chapter of my life, Dave, we've talked about this, where I was kind of playing a 2-dimensional character of myself, like good 7 years where I was like this girl on Instagram and this girl on social media running this very popular lifestyle magazine in Chicago. This was like 2008 to 2014. And something wasn't working, right? Which is why I had the breakdown to leave to go start this. And as soon as I started to articulate who I really was, and what was really going on, not like in a cathartic way that was about me, but to share my lessons and to open up about the truth of what I was really going through, which wasn't that sparkly. Then I began to really own my communication and learn how to articulate it even more. And I think that's the distinction between like, our work is very different. Like we help people build their platforms and to show up very successfully, but it's an inside job first. And when you can really get clear on who you are, you can then clearly share who you are from that place of your soul. And people resonate with that and can hear you differently. You articulate it naturally. So that's been my journey.
Yeah, that was one of the takeaways I got from you. Besides the jealousy of, I'm like, whoa, man, I go, Jessica has it so much easier than I do, self-promoting and branding herself. I go, she's so much smarter and more beautiful than me. I'm proud of myself that I'm even in the same league as a Jessica. But more importantly, I have these mantras. And we were just on this. So I want to finish up with this. My mantra to fight what you're talking about from my younger years is I am healthy, I am wealthy, and I am happy, right? And what am I doing to interfere with those things? That was the shift in my mind through these mantras when you say, what am I showing up? And I can't find inside of me I can't find outside of me what I can't find inside of me. So I use these mantras to do that. For you, if I ask you, what are your I ams, or one of your I ams, what would it be?
I am love. I am
says it all.
It really is. I'm the truth.
Yeah.
I'm light, and that is the truth. I think, I actually know, in fact, for the record, based on my own spiritual experiences, that the truth of the universe is love. It's why we are here on planet Earth.
I agree 100%. That's why you are one of the 1,000s that I know in my life will empower 1,000 to empower 1,000 to be happy and to live in their light and to live in their love. And that's what your book is really about. When you say I am, you might as well just say 2 letters instead of 3, be. And that
right.
be is a no bullshit guide to increasing your self-worth and net worth by simply being yourself. Everybody is a expression of genius, and you express your genius so well. We have to do more things together. I adore you. I pray for your happiness and your love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. You really are one of my favorite people, and I feel like I've known you in many lifetimes, and so to reconnect in this one has been such a treat and a gift. Thank you for having me.
Buy the book. Buy
the book. Yes, thank you.
It's easy to find.
Totally easy to remember.
Thanks.
Bye.
Exit out. Thanks, Jess. All right, everyone. It doesn't get any better than that. That woman is so beautiful inside and out. I'm like, yes, I've shared other lifetimes of friendship with her. And buy that book. Let me just tell you, I got a chance to look it over, and there's some really good stuff, whether you're a boy or a girl. So please, or identify with anything, please. That's a good one. Everybody's not worthy. That's the trick of the trade. Okay. Training starts in about 2 hours and 23 minutes at 11 a.m. Pacific time. It's blending persistence and patience. All 3 of my great guests, Ronaldo, Liam, and Jessica, all know how to blend persistence and patience. They live in the light, the lessons, and the love, as we all have articulated very well here. Please, if you want any exercises, guides, my book's free. Buy Jessica's. Save your money on mine. I'll pay for shipping. Buy Jessica's book. Please. I promise it will have an articulated value far exceeding what she's asking for. And if you want my stuff, to find any of these guys and women, david@dmeltzer.com. Join my text community, part of it, 949-298-2905. Exercises, books, guides, trainings free, david@dmeltzer.com. It's 11 a.m. Pacific. If you miss anything, I am blessed to have one of the top podcasts called The Playbook. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. The Playbook is featured on Spotify, Entrepreneur, iTunes, Google Play, everywhere. Check it out, The Playbook. Download it, share it, like it. You can get all my lessons, all my guides. Kathy Cardenas, the greatest PR woman I know. I see you there. What a great way to finish up. Jesus, awesome guest today. I agree. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you very soon on my training, or the replays are available on The Playbook. Here we go. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I'll see you at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you.